Yes, yes, yes. Are we live? I think we are. Yes, we are live. What are we saying, people? Welcome to the new. It's a podcast, but it's not really a podcast. I don't know how to explain it. I guess this is a new show or a new platform where we are just gonna hop on and basically talk about a couple things. Longer form content with less editing time. This is all going to be one take, not edited down. So yeah, I guess I could just come on here and talk about different things. This episode will just be me. I just want to break down my new project, the Second Testimonial. And just first off, before we get into it, can I just say thank you for the amount of love and support shown on the project. I know I already made a video talking about this, and I already talked about it on my stream a couple times as well, and some people wanted to see me break down the whole project. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna break down the whole project, and hopefully people enjoy this. If you do not enjoy this type of video, or if you do not enjoy just audio or whatnot, then I wouldn't recommend watching this one, but maybe watching the next one where I'm gonna have people on this show. I don't know why I call it a show. I don't know what to call it. I don't know whether to call it I guess it is a podcast. The Honor Level podcast. And yeah, but in the future it's not always just going to be me. I might have other people. I might have artists on here. I might just have some of you guys on here, some of the people that I regularly interact with within the community. Sometimes I might bring other people on here. Fuck it, one time I plan on within the next couple episodes bringing my boy Jake on here. Spyro should come on here one time, definitely. I think that could be an interesting one. So there's a lot of things that I want to do. Definitely a few things that I've got planned and a lot of things that I want to do. But today, yeah, we're just breaking down the project, the Second Testimonial. And I had some people ask, why did I name it that? The Second Testimonial is basically just named after, well, my age. I'm 20 years old, hence the name of the first track. And I can't lie, I was writing half of this project. I probably written about 3 or 4 songs. I was near halfway through this project, and I remember thinking, right, shit, I got to make a name for this. I don't want it to be an EP. I want it to be a project. I don't even call it an album. I definitely wouldn't call it a mixtape. I guess it's nearer to an album than anything else, but I just call it the project. Because it's a project. I set myself out to make this, and that's what I did. It was my project. So I was thinking of a name, and then I written the track 20, and I was like, 1 minute, a testimonial was 10 years. We're 2 testimonials into my life, and I was like, the Second Testimonial. I was like, that sounds sick. That sounds sick. And I was like, to my knowledge, I don't think anyone else has made a project called that. So I was like, we're doing it. So yeah, that was the whole thought process behind the Second Testimonial, really. And then once I had the name, it kind of brought a bit more inspiration to the project. Once I had the name of that, I kind of thought, right, well, I want to talk about the place where I'm at in my life. And funny enough, so I think the first few tracks that were created, I think Big Sister was the first track that was created for this. In terms of the idea for it, that was well over a year ago now. But it didn't get finished. It was probably one of the last ones to get finished, funny enough. So it was the first idea, and I was like, yep, I definitely want that on a project. And then it was kind of one of the last ones to actually be recorded and finished. I know I had Trap done last minute. I know I had Right Back done last minute, but songs like Upside Down was done from early on. Only the Rated was done from quite early on. And yeah, but we're gonna get into it track by track and break it down from there. So 20. Let's just go in order. Fuck it. 20. It's your typical intro type track. There's nothing. There was no real concept behind the song. There was no real aim other than to just bar out as heavy as I could. Now, anyone who's heard my tracks 18 and 19 can see a trend following. Every time it's my birthday, I normally drop a track, and I was gonna drop 20 as a standalone track on my birthday, and I went, nah, it's too album like, it's too project like. We can't just throw that out there as a single. That's definitely a song that belongs as part of a body of work. So 20 was, it's the what would you call it, a trilogy? The trilogy to 18 and 19. So 18 I created a couple years back, and it's the nearest thing to a diss track that I've ever made. I can't talk about it too much because I will get in trouble. Funny enough, that track got the police involved, and it had a whole madness go on, and I've had lyrics address that as well. But yeah, so I won't talk too much about that, but that's probably the cruddiest song I have made to date. Even though I clearly say in the song I'm not doing any of it, it's all the people around me, but we're not going to incriminate ourselves any further. That is still up on the channel if you are interested in listening to that. Then I made 19, and 19 is still to this day lyrically one of my more favorite tracks that I've made. I really do like it, but people do not fuck with it. I believe it's my lowest viewed video or lowest viewed song on the channel. So it must just not be people's favorite. What can I say? Which is fair enough. I mean, I enjoy it, and that's the most important thing to me. But the whole idea behind these tracks named after my age as well, one, showing where I'm at in my life, and two, showing my lyrical ability. So how much I'm progressing as an artist. So when I make the track 21, how much has it progressed from 20? And it's kind of one of them. It's just, how much can I lyrically flex? How much can I really put on a plate for one song? So when I was going into 20, I was like, right, 19 wasn't a success. 18, some people really liked, but I don't like listening to it anymore. So I want to make one of these tracks that I'm proud of. You know, I want to be happy with it, and I want to make other people pleased with it. So it was trying to show where I'm at in my life, and it was a funny one with 20, because I started writing, and there was a lot that I was adding and taking away. There was a lot of I'm not sure where this is going. And I remember I didn't even write so some of the bars that are written in the song are actually rearranged. I rearranged some of this, and what I wanted to do with this one is, I didn't want to just have 4 and 8 bar setups, set up punchline, set up punchline. I kind of wanted it to all flow through somehow. And I think I did a decent job of doing that. But I remember writing that first opening, my best punchlines are written at 4 in the morning, can't sleep, my pattern needs sorting. I had that bar, and I was like, that's gonna be the opener. That's gonna be the opener, because it was 4 in the morning when I just started writing it, and I think I made a punchline in one of the other songs, and I was like, right, let's start writing a 21. I'm ready to do this, and started writing, and then I think once I got down to, what bar was it? I think it was the moving bricks like Rice Krispies when I snack crackle pop. That's when people people, what they even mean. That's when I finally started to get into my rhythm, and things started to progress on, and then the rest of the song didn't take that long to write, really. I kind of just flexed as hard as I possibly could, and it flowed through, and I have some bars in there are crazy, in my opinion, absolutely crazy. But yeah, and then I was like, well, I don't know how I want to finish, but I kind of want to finish with, you know, like a perspective. I want to put perspectives onto this track, and I think they judge man, Kai ain't got a few gums, but when I was born without any. And I wanted that to really be a perspective opener, like people going, oh shit, I didn't look at it like that. And that's what I want people to think on every single one of these tracks is, oh shit, I didn't look at that. And there's one song in particular that does a great job of that, in my opinion. But yeah, that was 20. That was the typical opener. And then it was Only the Rated. Now, Only the Rated, obviously featuring Spyro. Shout out to Spyro. First and foremost, he absolutely killed his verse. So what happened was we we was at mine. It was the day, if anyone's seen the reacting to Chilling It Running Bars Part 2, and it was me, Spyro, your boy K, and Raf that were in the video, and we was all just relaxing, whatnot, and K and Raf were smoking. They were doing their thing, obviously legal substances, and then me and Spyro were just barring out. We was just showing each other new material, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I got this Westy beat," and he starts spitting his verse, and I was like, shit. Especially when he did that Mr. Drop Like That, you dumb kiss it, like I went nuts. And especially when and the other one just over the mid drop when he goes, "I ain't Drake but my melodies I see, fuck the Lord, there ain't no one like that whole bar there was crazy in my opinion. So when I heard that, I was like, wow, I gotta hop on this. And he was like, yeah, go on, do it, man, do your thing. And I had nothing written, so originally I written something else to this track, and we was doing it back to back, like practicing it. I was like, I ain't feeling my verse. I was like, give me a day or two. And literally that night I had this new verse written, which is the exact one that you hear now. And I was hungry. The thing about me and Spyro is whenever we collab, I'm always hungry to do better than him, and he's the same with me. We just want to one up each other, and I think that creates that friendly competition. And I think I mean, I would like to say it's a 50-50 split in who thinks has a better verse, but I would rather people just appreciate the song for what it is. But obviously he had the drops. On the drops in the song, they were the highlight moments for him, and I was like, alright, let's just try one up that. And the first one was the most important for me, and it was just like, right, what's gonna be a rude boy statement? And I was just thinking, right, what? Let's think about times where I have mugged people off. Like, I'm not a rude person. I'd like to say I'm a good guy deep down, but let's think back to a time where I have absolutely mugged someone off. And I thought back to one time, and it was, I didn't even mean to. I just remember turning around and just saying, "Who are you?" And everyone started laughing, and they were like, "Oh, you're a dickhead." And I was apologetic, but not really. You know, the patronizing, "I'm sorry, bro." Like, you know, them ones. So I was like, yeah, we got to throw that into a verse, and that was perfect. Right there was perfect. It was just the "Who are you?" No, I don't want to follow back. And just that whole thing, and then it kind of trickled into DMs and what people DM me and things like that. And the Aussie bar I just thought of on the spot. To bless me, and I was like, to bless me, you sexed me, no, that's trash. And I just thought USB, and I was like, all right, so let's think of a USB bar. And I was like, well, US. I was like, I can't do a bar about Americans. And I was gonna do something like, the Americans with dollars, because that's how the USB, the American plug, and you know what I mean. I was kind of thinking like that, and I was like, plug USB, and I was just like, I know that's the angle I want to get at. And I was like, but I've got an Australian, like they're the Oz, and then it clocked in my head AUSB, and I was like, oh shit. And then the rest of it was easy to write. I got Aussies that are plugged in. That's just how AUSB. And that's honestly one of your favorite bars, according to what people have commented and what people have messaged me. They'll listen to the whole project and they're like, that plugged in USB bar is crazy. And I guess it's because it caters to the Australian audience. Shout out the 420, shout out the 201, shout out everybody over in Australia right now. And then yeah, I'll just try and switch up the flows. And there's one thing I have to address, and it's not that many people have really brought this up, but we'll do it for context anyway. So if anyone brings it up in the future, I can throw them back to this. People have mentioned the bar, car, you don't fit the requirements, and then I leave a pause. Oh, I have a finished copy EP refund, then bin it, boop boop, hold the phone just 1 minute. So this track was written before Cadet did his what's the song called, Closure. So if anyone hasn't heard it, Cadet, great artist, one of my favorite artists, funny enough. and he has a track called Closure, and in that track he does a bar, a very similar bar, and it's like I can't remember how it goes, but it's like boop 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 boop, shut up, and it's like kind of hanging up the phone. I written this bar before that, but admittedly it does sound similar, and mine come out after that. So I written that bar, recorded it and everything, then Cadet's one come out, and it reminded me of my bar, and I was like, nah, they're not that similar. And then when I did listen to it, I was like, fuck, they are similar, but I was like, the track's already recorded. The project's nearly done. Like, what? And I was in two minds to change my verse, and I went, no, I'm gonna stick with it. And only one or two people really pointed it out, really. Jake being one of them, and that's why I appreciate Jake, because he can be on the real one and he can point out things. And then yes, and then I was just really happy with Only the Rated. It was in my head the better song out of that and Trap. And when I get to Trap, I'll talk about the reasons why I dropped Trap first. But Only the Rated, yeah, it's one of my favorite grime tracks that I've done. I definitely think it tops back to back that me and Spyro did before. And yeah, Only the Rated, man, I do like Only the Rated. I do like Only the Rated. Big Sister. Now this is quite a personal track. It is a personal track. So just for some context, last August 2017, my auntie passed away. Oh no, she passed away late July. Apologies. She passed away late July. But obviously a lot of the things that were written there were through the mindset of me in August. And I wanted to drop the track, and I couldn't write. I just couldn't. I had writer's block at the time, obviously, still going through the grief of it all. And I considered her my big sister, and that's why the song's called Big Sister. So just to make it very clear, she is my auntie, but I always seen her as my big sister. So it took me a while to get round to this track, and I was writing, and I think it was by like November, December time, I was like, I still can't finish this track. It's just, I can't do it. And I remember saying to myself, I'm going to drop it on her birthday next year, or I'm going to drop it when she passed next year, sorry. And I set myself that goal, and so every few weeks I would come back to it, and I would try and write for it, and I physically could not do it. As in, I didn't know how to structure it, I didn't know how to write it, I didn't know what to say. I had the bulk of what's written in the finished track now written down, but in a different way. I kind of written down the events of everything that happened in my mindset going through, and I would kind of base my writing from there. I remember it was getting close to July, and I was like, fuck, I need to get this done. I made a promise to myself, I made a promise to her that I would get it done, and that's what I did. And it's not a perfect track. There are so many holes and mistakes that I feel like it should be better. I feel like it should have been re-recorded, but I only recorded that once. I went in and I recorded that once, and it was because it was more of a moment than anything. It was, I don't want to spit this verse more than once. So if there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be mistakes. If the writing's not perfect, fine, I need to get this out on time. And that was literally the thought process behind it. But I think the whole fact that it's not perfect and it's more raw, I think that people will appreciate it more for that. I feel like people will enjoy it more, and it's a better song, and it hits you harder, the fact that it's not perfect. My favorite acoustic covers on YouTube are the ones that are not perfected, really. That's just how it is. So it was a really difficult song to write. I knew what I wanted to do. There were certain lines that I've written from day dot that are still in there, and there's certain things that were changed last minute, like in studio. I don't write in studio because I don't have my own studio. This was recorded elsewhere at a place called the Roundhouse in London, and I remember on the train on the way there, I was changing lyrics. Even when I was in there, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go, and I was like, oh wait, don't click record yet, I need to change this line. It was literally so last minute, and I just wanted the energy to build. And I used one of my favorite quotes that's not mine. So this lyric is not mine. It is from my favorite artist, Whit Lowry. It's a lyric that helped me through a lot of shit. It did, because I often say it through even just bad days. the darkest nights make the brightest stars. And I want to get that shit tattooed on me. Mark my words, I will get that tattooed on me. But yeah, I was like, I didn't want to copy the bar. And at first I think one of the lyrics were "as Wit said," and I was like, no, that takes away from it. But yeah, I just feel like those last 4 bars were perfect. And then on a dark night looking up, I'll remember you're a star among light bulbs. And the star among light bulbs thing, well, maybe someone else has said that, but that shit's mine as far as I'm concerned. And it kind of falls hand in hand with the darkest nights make the brightest stars. And I was just, I really wanted to end on that one. You're a star among light bulbs. Like, the more I say that out loud and the more I think about that quote, the more levels there are to that. So, you know, Chaz Pappy 2018 or 2018, you're a star among light bulbs. Really do fuck with that line. And yeah, so it took a lot out of me to do Big Sister. It really did. Because it's a song that I didn't want to make, but I had to. In my opinion, I felt like I had to personally. And that led me on to Paths. So I actually had Paths set up as one of the intro tracks. And then I was like, but I can't drop it before Big Sister because of the opening line, where the fuck's my family, R.I.P. Natalie. So when I was doing the ordering for this, it worked out perfectly. I was like, I'll go from Big Sister to this straight away. And I think that's how it will transition. It will transition a lot better. So when you hear Paths, you hear that sample come in. Obviously, you have your intro, and then just bang, the 808s come in, and then where the fuck's my family, R.I.P. Natalie. It just transitions everything that happens and my mindset almost after Big Sister. Yeah. So then we with Paths, I wanted to bar out as heavy as I possibly could. So the inspiration for Paths really was all within Dave's track, Santan Dave's Two Birds No Stones. And the whole idea behind it was just so simplistic, but it's one of my favorite songs to listen to. And admittedly, I filmed a video for Paths. Me and Jake filmed when we was on holiday. We filmed for Paths. I still have that footage, but it's all over the place. So long story short, I put the song onto my iPhone, but for some reason the audio played up so it would jump at times. So one, that throws off the performance at certain points, and then 2, syncing it up is a bitch because I have to sync it near enough every line now. Plus we didn't play the song from the very start, so different takes are at different times. It's a bitch to edit. The footage is there, but it is a bitch to edit. The lighting on 1 or 2 shots were actually off. I thought it was silhouetted out and some things weren't, or I thought some things were in shot and they weren't. So that's a little bit funny. That's a little bit awkward. But Paths, I had the video in mind. I had the video planned out in my head before I had the actual lyrics. So I was like, right, we're gonna make it work hand in hand with what the lyrics are gonna be. And it's a shame that I haven't made that video yet. I mean, I should, realistically I should, but I just wanted it to be more of a polished thing. It was a little bit of a sloppy video, but I mean, we had fun filming it anyway. But yeah, it was just trying to bar out and not leave a single line wasted. And some people want it like, okay, let's speed through real quick and just explain every single bar now, because I feel like I have to with Paths. When the fuck's my family, R.I.P. Natalie. Looking out for those left in the ICU, can't celebrate my birthday happily. So I was literally on my birthday, I was still grieving over my big sister, you know. I was trying to look after the people that were in the intensive care unit, looking after her, and I was trying to look after them basically. Focused on keeping my own sanity. Got man on the phone, talk profanity, bro. Think about the crowd rationally. I had to call her Bali like Napoli. So that's when I've got into the first bar. So I was trying to keep a level head. I've got people I had somebody call me up and they were like, oh, a whole madness has happened in this area, and I swear I'm gonna go shank him up. I'm gonna go do a madness. I'm gonna kick down his door, rare. And I'm trying to grieve, and obviously I don't think they knew that I was grieving at that point, and I didn't even mention it to them. And And I was like, you got to think about this. Like, you have to cool your belly. Like, you have to cool off your balaclava shit. You can't be just putting your belly on and doing a madness. And that's where that bar come from. You had to cool a belly like Napoli. Koulibaly is I think he's a Senegal player. But either way, he's a centre-back that plays at Napoli Football Club. So we got football bars, son! And yeah, so that's where that bar come from. Had to Koulibaly like Napoli. What's the next bar? 1 minute. I should probably just bring up the lyrics. That would probably be a smart idea instead of trying to remember it off the top of my head. Here we go. Had to Koulibaly like Napoli. Okay, enough of my problems. Been through a dark night in Gotham. Dark night, Gotham. Batman bars, son. Bear man want to stop ideas remotely, but not even pause could stop them. So bears remotely in the wild with bare paws, but bear man want to stop ideas remotely, not even pause could stop them. So we've got a bear scheme mixed in with a remote control. It's a bit of a weird one. Bear man want to stop ideas remotely, not even pause could stop them. Please, I beg you, man, listen, understand, I stand under what's written. Just a play on words there. Clowns put pennies unwise down Will's wishing, wanna hit off anything like junkie addiction. So clowns are penny is it Pennywise from the movie? I haven't actually seen it. Just there's a nice bar in it. Want to hit off anything like junkie addiction. That's self-explanatory. Shocking that I need to open up more. Obviously, I open up a lot. And it was just like, shocking, I need to open up even more. But if I Tipexed all my writing, I'd have no flaws. And that's the whole idea of, if I started Tipexing, you know, all of the negative things about me and all of the vulnerabilities I have, I'd have nothing to show. I'd be hiding everything. So flaws, you know, if I Tipexed on my writing, I'd have no flaws. Showed all my cards and I have nothing to hide. Accountable fair every time that I cried. So it's like, I'll show you everything. I'll even hold myself accountable and tell you the times that I've cried, because that means I have nothing to hide from you, man. I have nothing that you can say to me that I haven't already said. It's almost like the Eminem in 8 Mile when he says everything about him. It's like no one else has anything to say about you. And that's how I try to carry myself. When I fuck up, I make it very clear. That way, no one can go, haha, remember this one time when you fucking didn't do shoelace? Yeah, bitch. And I can't go, don't tell him about the time I didn't tie my shoelace. There's nothing you can say. I'll happily say, yeah, I didn't tie my shoelace. I tripped up and fell flat on my fucking face. I'll happily admit those moments. So, I've still done it. I've still done did when he said, please no. I can't talk too much about that one. I've asked to see privates for a show. Again, pretty self-explanatory. I've asked the girl to open up more when deep down I can't wait for her mouth to close. This is a funny one, because there was almost a double meaning to it, and that I didn't intend. So the initial meaning for me was I asked the girl to open up more about her feelings, when deep down I can't wait for her mouth to close. And it's like, I've said to some people in the past, yeah, open up, you can talk to me, that's okay. And as they're talking, I'm sitting there zoning out, or as they're talking, I'll still be there for them, but I'm like, I kind of want to go to bed now, or shit, I've got to go work, like I'm kind of running late right now. And that's what it kind of meant there. But then somebody was just like, oh shit, you've asked the girl to open her legs and you're deep down in her, you want her mouth to and I was like, okay, so you're trying to put a sexual twist on it, but I guess it had a deeper double meaning that I didn't realize, excuse the pun. When they pulled them blades, I swung, then ducked, pulled every muscle in my leg, 10 toes. That was referring to an incident that happens. All for a pussy with low self-esteem. My mother shouldn't have to get a tattoo of a rose. All because a guy wants to be on his cruddy shit. My mama shouldn't have to start getting tattoos of roses. Roses are typically using tattoos to remember people. I want to get a tattoo of a rose within a sleeve. So but yeah, I was just like, why should my mom have to do that? All because one guy wants clout, or he wants to feel better about himself, you know? That just no, I'm yawning. Ugh. How can a parent be raising a gun? A parent should care about raising their one. At least he's back home to say goodnight. Funny how that's how they think they're raising a son. I'm not a parent myself, but if it's in my mind, it's just so fucked up for you to go and, you know, kill someone else for no reason. Like, for literally no reason other than because you want to prove something to yourself or other people. And it's like, especially if you're a parent, and it's like, I've heard of someone, and it's just like, yeah, I seen him, and he's just like, yeah, and I take care of my kid. I'm there to say goodnight to him. So this madness that I do is for him, and it's like, how are you lifting knives and raising guns? That's not how you raise a son. So at least he's back home to say good night. Obviously, the moon coming up, the sun going down. That's how they think they're raising a son, and that was the kind of play on words there. Fuck me. You know, remember the moment I said I gotta go work? I gotta go work in about 20 minutes. I gotta leave for work in 20 minutes, and I'm still sitting here in my boxers. So I don't want to rush through this, but we are gonna get through this a little bit quicker. So, true drinkers of water can taste difference. Bro, that's a bar. I talked about this in my live stream, so I'll just touch on it again real quickly. If you drink water on a regular basis, you know there is a difference when you drink different water. Not all water tastes the same. True drinkers of water can taste different. True heads of sound knows that we are different. People know, and that's my comparison, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not simile, metaphor. It's my metaphor for saying that if you can understand the different taste in water, you have to really drink water to understand that. So if you want to say that I'm different, you have to truly understand music. And I want people to understand that, you know, I want to differentiate myself from people. I don't want people to compare me to anyone. I'm complex to them, diverse from him, a broken angel walking next to sin, fuck passing my shit down next to kin. And that was basically me saying I want to create a legacy. I don't want to just be here just to pass my belongings down to the next person. Immortal among mortals, normal among portals, the brainless among thoughtful, suits among the informal. And again, that was just trying to show opposites. Product of my environment, I'd never be that. Product of myself, but I'm always wanting more. And that's saying, like, in London, it's a fucked up place, man. London is a fucked up place. Although there's plenty of opportunity around here, at the same time, there's not enough. It's quite a strange one in London. But if I was a product of my environment, I'd be out there doing the cruddy shit as well. And I'll just be real, that's just not me. You know, 2/3 of people my age smoke weed. That's cool if you want to smoke weed. That's fine. I don't have an objection to it, but I'm not gonna do it just because other people are doing it. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. And I've just said to myself, nope, I'm saving myself money. That was literally it. That is the whole reason I don't. It's like, I ain't getting addicted to this shit. That's more money I gotta spend. Fuck that. That is literally my thought process behind it. From a medical standpoint, as long as you trust where you get your shit from, as long as your shit's clean, I'm not that against it. I'm just like, nope, that ain't me. A fixture and put bread on the table. You lost draw and cared more about your score. And that was, I tried to help somebody in a certain situation. I even give them money, but then they use that money to go and buy weed because they literally lost their bag. Like, that just pissed me off. And it was a whole play on, like, you know, sports fixtures, fixture, tables, draw, lost, draw, cared more about your scores and scoring a goal. And so that was the whole scheme I put into it there. And then this next thing was in reference to that. And then they hit me up after Darkest Days. So Darkest Days was the track, me talking about all the people that fucked off in my life and all the people that I fell out with, or the people that just disappeared out of nowhere. So after Darkest Days, they actually messaged me and was like, is this about me? I feel like it is. And I ignored the DM. I literally just straight up ignored it, and they messaged again a couple days later saying, well, fuck you then. You don't even want, you want to do a lyric about me in a song, but you don't even want to answer. I don't feel like I explained. I feel like all my explanation was in Darker Days. One hit me up after darkest days. You never hit me up in my darkest place. You spilled your heart out through your tongue. I said, I don't want to see your heartless face. And I remember when I did that take, I put so much energy from deep in. I tried to do I'm baffled, you're hurt, I'm sore for you, but I was out of breath. I had to do a second take just to do that bit because I put literally every last bit of my breath into that bar. Because that person hurt me, that person really fucked me off. And so, you know, it just naturally, that's just how the take went. I didn't even mean to put that much into it, but just as I was performing it live in studio, it felt like a moment, and just, I said, I don't want to see your heartless face. And it was literally with just every last bit of my breath, I put that almost hate into it. It was quite a moment there. And then I'm baffled, you hurt, I'm sore for you, jigsaw pieces on the puzzle on the floor for you. Fuck, would I travel all that way to go to war with you? Now you're rock bottom and my tear can never pour for you, never again. It's about an ex. I'm not gonna say which ex, but that's just about an ex that said, you know, oh, you traveled all this way out to me and you just want to argue, and it's like, why the fuck would I travel all that way just to go to war with you? And now they're not in a good position. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm styling nowadays. I'm dripping. You know, one of them was like, you're doing better than one of your exes. I know it's a petty thing to care about, but at the time of writing this, I was like, fuck it, we're gonna add it in. And it was like, now you're rock bottom and my tear can never pour for you. Never again could a tear pour on behalf of that girl. And then, yeah, this next bit is a scheme based on English goalkeepers. Material girl Pickford, but she never commend Butland, when she seaman, never against. My heart is something a keeper can never defend. Goalkeeper bars, son, let's go. I know I talked too much about gal, at least the man stood in my face and we solved it. This is something that a lot of people are like, you talk too much about girls in your music, man. You talk way too much about females in your tracks. Fuck right. Because girls just want to sit behind my back and bitch. At least the guys that I've had issues with, at least they called my phone. At least they stood in my face and said it. At least man swung fists over it. Girls, most girls, they don't even want to confront me about it. They want to sit behind things. So like, props to the person who did who hit me up after the darkest days. But it's like, what, 1 out of 10 are we talking about? 1 out of 8? Like, really, people? And so yeah, that's where that bar come from. But a bitch will say it's calm on the phone, then indirect on socials for others to get involved with. Two-faced. And that, again, that's where it comes into. It's like, they'll say, no, I don't have an issue with you, and then the snap goes up on their snap story. I'll tell you that I'm fine with you even though I fucking hate you. And it's like, what do you even mean? And I'm not saying only girls do this, because guys can do this as well. Guys can do this as well. Just from my personal experience, it's mainly, if not only, been girls. Two-faced, they control what you see and you paste. If you know a keyboard, you can click Control-C to copy and then Control-V to paste. So, you know, all of you, man, just copy and paste. You're just copying what other people are doing. You're pasting it on your social media. I say this for him, her, and you, mate. And it was just, yeah, that's just me saying. I said to everyone, these are my wisest words. And I was meant to say, these are my wisest words I've said to date. But at the time of saying it, I was like, these are my wisest words. And I was going to wait a little pause and then said, I've said to date. And then by then it was too late. And I was just like, these are my wisest words. And I was like, I'll let other people finish off that, but I like it. But yeah, that was my really drawn out long explanation of all the bars in Paths. Yeah, it's my personal favorite on the project. Paths is my favorite, then the second would be Only the Rated, then it would be 20, and that's just how it personally is for me. Paths, oh sorry, I'm stretching and yawning and everything. Paths is just one of my favorites. It's just, yeah, it's one of my favorites. Discretion is the most underappreciated track on the whole project, in my opinion. It's the only one that people really haven't fucked with. A couple people have, and they've got it, but I'm not going to break it down too much. Just long story short, the inspiration for this was Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas does a lot of songs from multiple perspectives and a play on words and sort of the same verse from a different perspective. And that was the whole inspiration for this. When I found the beat from a channel called Mantra, I fell in love with it. I was like, right, what do I want to do? I don't cheat. And then I was talking to somebody one day and they explained this story. They explained this story to me. And when we got off the phone, I literally sent a message immediately after saying, everything that we just talked about, can I put in a song if I don't mention any names? And he goes, what do you mean? And I kind of explained where I wanted to go with it. I was just like, look, I've just thought of it now. I just want to create this story. I can twist it a little bit if you don't want it to be the exactly same. He goes, no, bro, do it. And it took me ages to write the first verse, because it was so much to fit into a short space of time. And I was like, right, but how am I going to twist this? And then the second verse was quite easy. I just flipped the perspectives. That was quite easy to write. And then the third one took a little bit longer when you kind of put the plot twist in there, but it kind of worked still with the whole structure and theme of the song. And I was just happy with it. So people, if you don't get it, it's the same verse, but from a different perspective. The first one being the guy, the second one being the girl, and the third verse being the guy's brother cheating with the girl. Yeah, it doesn't need much explanation. I thought it was all explained in the song, but obviously I didn't do a clear enough job of writing it clearly, or people just don't fuck with that. It could just be as simple as that. Upside Down. Don't know why I said it like that. This is a song that was easy to write. Whenever I want to open up, I find songs like this very, very easy to write. I don't find it very difficult to write punchlines and personal bars and quotables. I could write a whole mixtape of songs like Upside Down. And it was kind of how I started. When I started writing music, I was writing songs like this. And everyone was like, no, why you feel sorry for yourself? Shut up in your feelings. And then I started writing more grime, and then people fuck with the grime more. But realistically, I enjoy listening to music like this in small doses. As I said, my favorite artist is Whit Lowry. He's known for making songs like this. And I just, yeah, again, I heard the beat. I heard that sampled hook. And I was just like, yeah, damn right, we're hopping on this one. Lot of bars in here. A lot of bars in here. One of my favorite bars was, how can someone be so close to your heart and soul and yet feel like a stranger? They keep eyes on you yet avoid you like you're some sort of a danger. There's certain people that I feel like I've connected to on a personal level, and now they treat me like a stranger. They keep eyes on you yet avoid you like you're some sort of a danger. Like, if something's a danger, let's say a tiger's in the corner of your room right now. You're keeping eyes on that tiger, but you're avoiding it because it's some sort of a danger, you know. And I just fucking love that bar. I just had to point that one out because I fucking love that one. And Upside Down, I felt like I wanted to have one heartbreak song on the track. This wasn't talking about anybody. Well, I mean, the first verse was a mix of two different people. Whenever I do these heartbreak songs, they're normally a mix of different people, but it's normally personal. I don't normally make it up. There's very few lines that I'll make up in songs like that. And then the second verse is directed to someone. I don't know if they've heard it. They haven't called me. So if you listen to that verse very carefully, you'll understand what I mean. But yeah, that person hasn't called me. If you want an update progress on that one, they might have not heard it. I don't think they've listened to it. I think they're just living their life, doing their thing. But you never know. Maybe they have, and they're on a thoughtful one. Right back. I wanted to do an Afro swing type song. I wanted to do like the most like the J Hus type vibe. And I was like, but let's be real, I'm not gonna be on a song going, yeah, me girl wanna wind up on your bumper. It's not gonna be me. You know it's not gonna be me. Or doing the typical Afro swings type song. So I was like, right, I got this beat, I like it, and I made the hook, then I made the pre-chorus, then I made the verses afterwards. And I was like, right, I want to make this personal to me. I want to make it the things that I'm good at. What am I good at? I would like to say I'm good at wordplay. And I'd like to say I'm good at slagging off certain stereotypes. So let's make a song about it. Yay. And yeah, and that's just where it come from, really. Just, you know, just trying to bar out as hard as I could. Backstab me up at 3 on your back like Conte. Antonio Conte was an Italian manager that comes to Chelsea Football Club. When he come in, he implemented a free at the back defense. Put free on your back like Conte. Deny your man's own failure like Kroenke. Kroenke is the owner of Arsenal Football Club, Stan Kroenke, and he denied that Arsene Wenger had any failure before he left, even though it was a lot of failure. A couple man want to hear Grease like 18, as we talked about earlier, and my pen and I don't give a fuck. That's an 18. Crush Man's Dream in my palm like Lenny. If you've ever read the book or even seen the film of To Kill a Mockingbird, Lenny crushes, he kills a woman by crushing her skull effectively, or does he choke her? One of the two, and it's like their dream to go and live and build a farm and some shit like that. You know, crush man's dream in my palm like Lenny. I will live after I die like Kenny. South Park bars, son. On top with the red robe 10 penny. If you play Fallout 3, arguably one of my favorite games of all time, there's a place called Tenpenny Tower, and the guy who owns it is called Mr. Tenpenny, and he has a red robe, so I'm on top with a red robe Tenpenny, whistling the tune to Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Shout out to the cartoon Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I don't know if you man in Oz know about it, but a legendary show, and one of the most iconic I was about to say jingles, but whatever you want to say, like the intro songs or whatever. Yeah, and then it was just me just sharing my thoughts. Heavy wordplay in the second as well. I won't go through it all, but yeah, if you listen carefully, very carefully, there is a lot of wordplay in that one. Trap. Another feature with Spyro. Spyro's the only artist that features on this project, and that's because no other fucker wanted to collab, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep it me and Spyro only, and put Spyro more on the map than anybody else. Trap was made last minute. It was made very last minute. We both had different verses, and then in studio we changed them. I had a verse written initially, Spyro written his, and I was like, right, I've got to put my levels up even more. So I changed my first verse again to try and one up his. And it was, I'm fed up of hearing trap and drill music when people don't actually do that. So that was what my version was. I wanted to have that dark trap drilled. It wasn't a drill beat, but like that dark kind of vibe to it. But I wanted to be true in everything that I said. And I think that is the epitome of this song is in the first opening bars. And let's be real, I'm not a big man that can knock off your block. I can't knock everyone out. I don't carry around the strap, so I won't pop off your top. I don't carry around guns, and I'm not going to knock out everyone. Let's be real. But let me put my foot down on this one. No one can outwork me. Little man, how dare you ever try outverse me? You can send shots, but your semi can never outburst me. So again, if we're talking guns, your semi-automatic, your semi-fire gun can never outburst my rapids. It's like saying every one thing that you do, I'll do 3 more. That was the idea. And then the rest was just greasy fucking shit, but keeping it real. Like shell a man down, shell in a shelly man's town. Seaside shells are the only shell in your towns. Hold a gun to my head, that's the only time that you could shell in your round. And it's like, it's saying you can't bar out, you can't bar out. The only time that you could ever shell in a round is hold a gun to my head. And you don't hold guns because the only shells in your town are the ones by the seaside. Like, literally just, I was on my, I'm fed up of hearing people talk shit. So I had verse 2 and 3 written for trap. It was meant to only be me, but then when Spyro did his, I was just like, fuck. Spyro killed that. Spyro absolutely killed his verse, and I was like, right, I've got to rewrite mine. And I was only happy with 1 out of my 3 verses, and then we decided to just write last minute the back-to-back bit for the 3rd verse. And that's just how that came about. The hook, I had that hook written not specifically for that song. I just had that hook written in general from a while back. It was just in my notes. It's just a random page, and it just had that. And as I was tidying up my notebook, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot I written this. And I was like, this is fucking fire. Why am I leaving this to go to waste? And then I based my whole song around that. Now going back to the whole debate between Only the Rated and Trap. So Spyro prefers Trap, and I preferred Only the Rated. I thought that Only the Rated was the better song, and Spiral was like, no, Trap's the better song. And so when it comes to time of I'm gonna tease the song, I remember being on the live stream, I was like, fuck it, I'll tease one of my songs. And I was like, I don't want to tease the better one. And I was like, do I go with what Spiral said, or do I trust my own ears in saying that Only the Rated's better? And I thought Only the Rated was better, and I was like, right, I'm gonna leak Trap. I'm gonna leak Trap first. And I'm glad, because I'm glad that I did that, because it got people hyped. The only downside to it was I released one of only 2 grime trap tracks, only 2 grime tracks that were on the project, and people wanted to see more. So that was the only downside to doing that. But I'm glad that it got people hyped. I'm glad that people weren't disappointed. I'm glad people were then interested to listen to the project after hearing that. I'm just glad that, you know, people fucked with it, because I was really worried. I was like, fuck, because if they don't enjoy Trap, what if Spiral's right? And what if Only the Rated's not as good? And if they don't enjoy Trap, then they won't enjoy Only the Rated. I just feel like Only the Rated just had way more charisma on it. Just way more charisma. And that's why I personally preferred it. And then we have Don't Care. The last track was written last, but it was one of the first that I actually recorded. And it was just a great way to round up the projects and everything that I was trying to get at. And it was like, right, who do I owe this to? Who do I owe this project to? And I kind of owed it one. I was like, right, what is it about? What is this project about? I was like, well, it's for me. And that's where the hook come in. When I found this beat, I was just like, this is a vibes. This is an absolute vibes. And I haven't had a hook or chorus like this. And I was like, I wanted to write my own chorus. So I wanted to just bar out for the last song, but I heard this beat. I was like, I can't pass up a hook like that. And I was just like, it'll work perfectly to just round up the project. And the way it contrasted from Trap was perfect, because Trap's dark and gritty, and then you have Don't Care that's just light and smooth. And so the first one was just barring out as much as I could. And it was kind of just, I was like, right, how can I end the first verse on a positive, fun note? And it was just like, my ex said that she doesn't care, so tell me, what is that frown about, like? And it just, I don't care what they all say. If it ain't right, then it ain't right. You're not playing no games. Yeah, I was just like, that shit is fire. That shit is fire. And then then the middle verse was just dedicated to you guys, which I actually written quite a while back. Again, it was another one of them. It was just sitting there. And it was just like, boy, shout out to 201, shout out to 420. Watch time keep doing you, bro. Hublot, you know. It's time to watch Who Blows. So time to watch Who Blows. Time watch Who Blow, you know. 3 words in a 5-bar setup and punchline, crazy. And it was just barring out, and then I tried to include as many artists as I could. I got Flows, Little Snow, Made Cold on Road, but you chat shit, but I ain't hearing it. One bat, make the doctor flee, complete. Fracture, man, when I enter, giving it, you only got nerve to point cursors. So my husky delivery, bro, I ain't chilling it. That's 11 artists in 5 lines. And I was just like, yeah, let's just try and include as many of the Oz artists as I can in a scheme. And although the scheme's a little bit off, it was just trying to name drop as many people as I possibly could, and just say thank you to those people for kind of making my channel what it is, from the things that I reacted to them from early on. So yeah, I was really happy with that. And then you had the last verse, and it was just saying thank you to everyone. It was just saying thank you to all the people, in England that I just fucking rate from day one, you know. Especially Kai. Kai is someone who's almost an internet friend. He's a fucking bro, man. The guy just keeps it real. He's always giving me constructive feedback on everything that I do, always supports everything that I do. Kai is just a fucking real one, man. Jake's my brother. L is someone who's just watched my content from very, very early on and still stuck by me this long. Spyro, obviously, been about since the whole music thing, and just, yeah, the other names that I mentioned in there, you know, were just people that talk to me on a regular basis outside of a comment section, you know, like that. Like, I get real genuine feedback from them, and I always have to appreciate that from them, always. And yeah, so that's the project. I know I rushed through a little bit after Paths there. I'm actually right now as we speak, I'm meant to be leaving for work, but you know, there's priorities in this world, okay? There's priorities. That's my breakdown of the Second Testimonial. I do have another project coming soon. That's going to be an Oz mixtape feature. Feature mixtape, just featuring as many Oz artists as I possibly can. So once again, if you've listened this far, thank you. I know I've rambled on. Some of you guys might have just thrown this on in the back. Some of you guys might have gone to sleep listening to this. You might be on your way to work. You might be at work. You might be at school, college, whatever, listening to this. And I appreciate it if you have. Give me some feedback. If you have listened this long, can you give me some feedback in the comment section down below of what would be good? Before people ask to have a camera on, I didn't want this to have a camera. I wanted this to just be audio. Obviously, if I Skype an artist or if I have artists on here, of course I will have camera on, but for now I just wanted it to be audio. I just wanted you to take in what I was saying. Down below in the description I will timestamp everything, so if you wanted to go back and listen to a certain part, or in the future even, it will be timestamped in the description below, different parts that I talk about. So yeah, I wanted this one to be longer. Actually, I did want this to be longer, but I've just got to go. I didn't plan it out, okay? Leave me alone. I didn't plan it out. Leave me alone. Yeah, we'll be doing more of these in the future. I wanted to break down the Conor McGregor and Khabib fight, but I guess we're not going to have time to do that one now, so that will have to be done in... we might do another one before the weekend. We'll see. I don't know how often I'll do this. I would like to say I'll do this once a week, but I do not know. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not going to put a time on that. There might be 3 a week. There might be 1 every 3 weeks. I don't know. But we'll see as time goes on. But yeah, thank you for dropping by the first installment of the podcast on a level. Social medias, the link to the Second Testimonial, Patreon, all of that will be down in the description below. I'm trying to bring as many different forms of content to you guys, so I appreciate any support. It is massive, just a massive thank you to you guys for anyone who is supporting the channel, even if it is as simple as dropping me a DM and just showing your love and support. That just makes my day. So whether you want to donate regularly on Patreon or whether it's just a DM or a follow, it means a lot, guys. So I thank you so much for that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you listened all the way to the end, give me your feedback in the comment section and put hashtag oh, let's see hashtag Napoli. Koulibaly Napoli. Either way, people, thank you for dropping by, and yeah, I'll talk to you all later.